solving mysteries in the night. Chasing shadows, finding answers, shining bright light. No one's left behind in the darkness, all alone. With a heart like a siren, she brings the lost ones home. Silent cries in the dark no longer have to be. For justice wheels keep turning, Granny on the beat. Broken voices find their power, call out hope again. When Granny's crime busters run, no victims left in vain. Bravery in her veins, truth she won't disguise. With a fire in her eyes, she's got nothing to deny. Granny fights for justice, never backs down from the call. For the voiceless and the missing, she'll stand tall.
Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing tonight? I am amazed at what 24 hours can do, guys. I'm just amazed. Hello, Ginger Girl, Lori Green. Good to see you. The rest of you in the bushes out there, welcome in. Before we get started, we'll go ahead and discuss our spotlight on the Missing with Granny. Zayla Furpo, I hope I'm saying it right. Missing since June 16th, just 3 days ago, guys. Last seen in Providence, Rhode Island. She is 15 years old. God, is it just me or do kids look older nowadays? I don't know. She looks older than 15, but 15 years old. If anyone knows where she is or anything about her disappearance, please contact the Providence, Rhode Island Police Department or call 911. We need to bring our missing kids home. So, yes, so much going on, guys. In the Lily and Jack case, I'm just blown away. I do want to share a photo. If I can get it up here. Of little Claire Bell when she was found. Kind of sad, isn't it? But at least she was found. She is in the hospital. They are, making sure she's okay. And poor little thing was found. She said she was talking. She told the police that she was waiting for her mama. Her mama told her to wait there, and she had a lunchbox with her. So, I'm sure more charges will be coming to mom. I would honestly believe that she's probably going to live with her dad once she's out of the hospital. I don't know. But the good news is she's found, she's safe, she's in the hospital getting the treatment she needs. That's what's most important. All right. Noni, hello. Wallach, hello. To make sure everybody else is in here. Yeah, I thank God she was found safe too. Yeah. It's kind of a sad picture, but yet it is proof that they did find her. Yeah. Oh, that curly hair. She's just what a little doll, right? What a little doll. Hello, Brenda Joe. Good to see you. So, I'm not even sure where to begin with Lily and Jack's case because so much has gone on. I guess first I want to read from an article for you about Lily and Jack. It was from Global News in Canada, but I actually had to have Ginger copy and paste it for me because he had to have a subscription to read it. So I'm just going to read it. So Nova Scotia's Child Protection Agency invested the living conditions of Jack and Lily Sullivan months before their mysterious disappearance in early May. Guys, I wondered if CPS had been called to that home prior. I don't know, I just had this feeling. I didn't bring it up because, of course, it's just my conjecture, my speculation, right? But I just had this feeling, and it's absolutely true. A case file that has been reviewed by the minister responsible for child welfare. Scott Armstrong, Nova Scotia's Minister of Opportunities and Social Development, confirmed in an interview that the agency had a file on the children prior to their disappearance, but said it would be inappropriate for him to discuss the agency's findings. I'm amazed that he even admitted that there was a file, but okay. With Jack and Lily still missing and a police investigation underway, it's not the right time to dissect the agency's prior involvement, Mr. Armstrong said. We have no idea where those kids are. I'm having trouble with my allergies today. My throat is just something else. We have no idea where those kids are, and we should be focused on helping them and finding them and supporting this family, he said. Asked whether a review has been ordered into his agency's prior interaction with the children, he said, as minister, I've seen a report. I'll talk to that. I personally seen the report. I asked for it. I'm aware of how our department was involved in this. He added, I think we should be focused more on those kids than we are looking to blame somebody. Mr. Armstrong said there may come a point when the agency's involvement with the children is deserving of more scrutiny, but now 7 weeks into their disappearance is not it. Daniel Martel, who was in a common law relationship with the children's mother and was living with them when they went missing, told the Globe in an interview in May that a social worker with Child Protective Services visited the home several months ago. The visit was prompted by concerns that had been relayed by someone at the children's school and related to their developmental delays, Mr. Martel said. So Daniel said that the visit was concerning their developmental delays. Of course, they cannot, CPS cannot say what it was concerning. So the children's mother, Malehya Brooks Murray, said she had no comment in relation to Child Protective Services involvement with Lily and Jack. Mr. Martel has said he had nothing to do with the children's disappearance and has nothing to hide. I'm keeping the story alive and keeping everyone's hope up, not just my own, Mr. Martel told the Globe in May. He also said Miss Brooks Murray had no involvement in the disappearance either. I know Malehya has nothing to do with anything. That's interesting because I'm going to be reading you something in a little bit here. Bear with me for my voice, guys. I don't know if it's going to work all night. Children welfare authorities investigate when a report of suspected abuse or neglect is received by the agency. In Nova Scotia, every person has a legal obligation to report concerns of suspected abuse or neglect of a child. The law stipulates that teachers and other child care workers have an added duty to report. So remember, this came from the school. Complaint from the school. The disappearance of Jack and Lily has prompted one of the largest ground searches in the province's history. Miss Brooks Murray told police that Lily 6 and Jack 4 wandered away from their home in Lansdowne on May 2nd, while she and Mr. Martel, her then common law partner, were sleeping. Earlier that same morning, around 6:15 a.m., she reported both children would be absent from school, according to Mr. Martel. He told the Globe Lily had a cough and Jack was kept home as a precaution. The RCMP's major crime division involved since day 2 of the search has since seized electronic devices from the children's home, conducted polygraph tests, analyzed hundreds of hours of video footage from the road outside their residence and searched septic systems and abandoned mine shafts in the area. So far, the children appear to have disappeared without a trace. The division, whose primary role is to investigate foul play and homicides, has repeatedly said there is no evidence that the children were abducted. The day after the children were reported missing, Miss Brooks Murray left her home in Lansdowne. She cut off contact with Mr. Martell and later changed her Facebook status to single. Nova Scotia and Ontario are the only two provinces without a child and youth advocate. Both provinces rely on provincial ombudsmen to impartially investigate complaints related to child welfare. However, those watchdogs are also responsible for reviewing many other agencies and departments. The role of a child and youth advocate is dedicated to advocating for and protect the rights of children. The office may also review and investigate deaths or injuries of children receiving government services. More than a year ago, Nova Scotia's progressive conservative government introduced legislation to create a dedicated office that would be an independent voice for the rights of children, but the initiative has not moved forward. On Thursday, the province announced a reward of up to $150,000 for anyone who comes forward with information about the children. So, I am kind of stuck there as far as I don't know whether Daniel is telling the truth or not in regards to it being according to developmental delays. Because we saw the house, right? So you need a granddaughter. Hello, Donna. Good to see you. Regdor. Yes, they were neglected. Ginger says I call BS Daniel. I know. Not to my knowledge, but I don't know. Okay. So Ginger says, no, there's a child development agency that does that. So there you go. I'm starting to think Malehya kicked Daniel to the curb so she could keep custody of her children, allegedly. Okay. So, guys, I know something was brought up last night about another creator. Well, evidently, Daniel was in chat. I got some of the screenshots. So I'm going to go ahead and share those with you. And the only reason that I am sharing them with you is that I'm 99.9% certain that they are from Daniel, from his YouTube. Okay. And on page 2, you'll see why. Guys, see that all right? All right. Actually, let me do this, make it a little bigger for you. Okay, so the first one, kids are alive, polygraph exam questions were all on death, everyone passed. Daniel Martell, she has Meadow and is on the run. This is something else that another alleged, and again, guys, I'm not going to play that phone call, but this alleged second cousin of Malehya's called in to a creator show and stated that Meadow has left her mom's house with, or Malehya has left her mom's house with Meadow and is on the run. But the first thing that I heard was that she went to the reservation, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know. And this alleged second cousin says he's stirring up trouble. I don't know what that means. We don't even know that he is related. We don't know if it's just a troublemaker, guys. I don't like to quote those things, and the reason that I don't is because, number one, why is all this stuff coming out against Malehya? We had Logan talking about things. And now this guy calls in, and I'm, is Daniel putting people up to it? I mean, I don't know. Or is it true? Right? I mean, I'm just throwing things out there because I don't know what to believe, honestly. And I'm reading you what Daniel said because this came from his channel. I mean, he is the one that said these things in another chat. Okay. So she has Meadow and is on the run. Bro, Malehya is on the run from RCMP. What don't you get, bro? Malehya knows everything. Okay, but he said Malehya knew nothing in that article, didn't he, that I just read? I want Meadow, not Malehya. Isn't that interesting? Because before, didn't he say he wanted her back? Waterfalls and beaches. Isn't right? But I want Meadow, not Malehya. See, in my opinion, Daniel cannot be trusted. I'm just saying, there's inconsistencies like we talked about last night, right? It's not abduction. That's criminal investigation. It's a missing persons case. Yes, she's terrified investigators are close. Why would she be terrified? She couldn't stay around me because she would crack. I would find out. All right. I gotta look at your things. I think he's a nutter. I've been watching for Amber Alerts for mom on the run with her baby. There are none that I can find. It is odd that they have put out $150,000 reward. So all of a sudden, when this information all started coming out, and I'm not done with these things yet, but I just don't know if I truly believe Daniel and everything he's saying. I just don't know, guys. You can tell me how you feel. But I'm wondering why isn't it convenient that all of a sudden all this stuff's coming out against Malehya when the heat's been on Daniel for a while now? I'm just saying. I don't know. Exactly, Noni. There's something there that I can't put my finger on, but something about him and his mom I find scary. Yeah, yeah. I don't believe Daniel. Yeah. And isn't it convenient that Malehya's relative happens to come out and talk against her? When even the children's dad's mom, the paternal grandmother, didn't even really say anything harsh against Malehya. She actually said Malehya was a good mother. Yeah. Who else does that sound like? Chris Proudfoot. It's not a criminal investigation, right? Right. Hello, Lola. Good to see you. Okay. Cheryl believes it. She heard the phone call last night. I believe him. Daniel is now telling what happened because he is worried about his daughter and realizes she might be in trouble. But his story is changing. That's the only thing that bothers me, Cheryl. That's why, I mean, I want to believe him, but why is his story changing? I agree. There's no way the polygrapher's first question would be, did you kill Lily and Jack? Not a chance. Yeah. Yeah. Because what they do first is set up a baseline, right? They ask questions. They want you to tell the truth. Well, according to her second cousin and according to Daniel, she is. I don't know what that means. Yeah, he's telling so many lies. I just don't know. So let's continue on with his thing. And you see this picture of him right here. This is his Pokemon channel on YouTube. So that's why I say we know that it was Daniel that was chatting in that chat. No rugs. Dogs went through house and property. RCMP said drug test not a concern. I asked. So I don't know if this was all of them, guys, but I'm just saying we know that it was Daniel because this is his channel on YouTube. This was his picture. So he did say these things. Whether these things are true or not, I can't tell you. I don't know. I do not know. I do not trust Daniel, and I take everything he says with a grain of salt. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, the fact that there's no Amber Alert about her taking Malehya makes me wonder if that story is even true. I agree. There's too many people, so-called relatives, coming out of the woodwork now. Reward. Who's next to pop up? Malehya's granny. Yeah. He wanted to protect Malehya, and now he's scared his daughter is in trouble. I think the mom is doing well and probably involved in taking the kids. Could be, Cheryl. I guess I just don't believe it. But you're entitled to your beliefs, right? You're entitled to your opinion. Um, I just think it's very weird that her cousin's coming out and speaking against her all of a sudden now. Um, yeah, if the mom was on the run, there would be an alert for the child. Cheryl, we don't know that. Are you really seriously going to take Daniel's word for her mental health condition? Because I'm sorry, with all of his inconsistencies in his statements, I'm not. I don't, you know, I want to hear that from Malehya or from RCMP or from some rant that maybe she goes on like Claire Bell's mother did, right? That shows us that she's not mentally healthy. In her interview, Nothing alerted me to the fact there were red flags, don't get me wrong, but nothing alerted me to the fact that she was not mentally healthy. We have no idea about the mom's mental health because that info has come from people that are not living with her. I agree. Hello, prayer warrior. Yeah, if he was asleep, how did he see Lily pop in and out of the room? Comes across as a narcissist. Well, let's see what Mr. Yummy has to say about him. I'm curious.
Malehya and baby were asleep. Lily came in multiple times. I was not in deep sleep by any means. And then about 20 minutes passed, and then when I woke up, Malehya was right beside me. She was still asleep. And I said, I don't hear Lily and Jack. I ran up in the woods to the kids. They have cabins up in the woods, which only took me like 30 seconds. I came right back down. She was on the phone with the RCMP.
That's Daniel Martell, and I think he's lying about his missing stepchildren. And it's not just because that story literally did not make sense. So in today's video, let's watch his CBC interview and count the red flags. I'm just
The statement analysis, who believes he's lying? Comes too quick to throw Malaya under the bus, yeah. And hello, Silly. Good to see you. We're happy to have you. I believe more and more Daniel, regardless, she know what happened. Okay. Yes, his story does keep changing, even in this interview. And Mr. Yummy points it out.
Deception Detective, an attorney trained in statement analysis. This channel exposes lies and manipulation. So if that's your thing, hit subscribe. For exclusives and other cool perks, join the channel. Link in description. If you have two versions of the same story, debunking one of them is pretty easy. All you have to do is look for contradictions. If there are any, they can't both be true. So before we grab our deception and break down Dan's version of that morning in this CBC interview, here's Malehya's version from a month ago.
They happen to just get out that sliding door and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet, and we get up.
So, guys, this is a woman who does not come across as having any mental health issues. I agree. I think they both have guilty knowledge too. It's a video that he dropped. Let me see. Yesterday. The one he dropped today was Lacey was coughing. I had to check on her. The one he dropped today was about Claire Bell.
Up and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call.
Malehya said she's the one who noticed the kids were gone and alerted Daniel. He said the opposite. Malehya said they both went outside looking for the kids. Daniel said he was out for 30 seconds and she called the police in the meantime. Those are interpersonal contradictions, or contradictions between two people's stories. And
exactly. They're contradictions. And also, Daniel's story changed because he said he immediately got in his car and went and drove down the dirt roads and in the culverts. Now, all of a sudden, the story has changed to he went outside. Yes, it was messages that he sent to the other channel last night, I believe. Okay, so was it messages he sent to the other channel the other night? I thought she seemed very calm, unusually calm, and almost sedated, and maybe she is, doesn't necessarily mean anything, I guess. I mean, yeah, we don't know. The grandmother said she was very calm as well, right? I believe Malehya threw him under the bus, and no, he's not covering her. They both guilty, but police made a mistake. They weren't hard on them in the beginning. Good point, Lolo. They were playing in the backyard, even though we didn't know it at the time. Yeah. How would you know they were playing in the backyard if you never heard them? You wanted to, so Sully, you said now he's not covering for her. I don't know. I don't think it's ever good that somebody lies in a missing persons case. Yeah, I mean, or to the police about a missing persons case. I mean, you just shouldn't be lying, in my opinion.
Typically, if one is guilty and one is innocent, the innocent person will point out the contradictions and be suspicious of the one who's clearly lying. So the fact that Daniel and Malehya haven't done that suggests to me that they're co-conspirators and this entire story is scripted. And there are plenty more signs of scripting and fabrication in that story. I've already pointed out a bunch of them in my previous videos in this series, which I recommend you binge watch if you haven't seen them yet. But there's plenty more in this interview itself, so let's watch.
A home deep in rural Nova Scotia, 140 kilometers northeast of Halifax, the last known location.
A lot of area to cover. We're out in the sticks here.
Not one, but two missing children. A dog that barks at everything, a mother who left on the second day, a father who hasn't seen the kids in 3 years, and a stepfather trying to piece things together.
It's been a long 6 weeks. I know that everybody basically in the world at this point is always wanting to know like what happened.
The mystery of what happened to 6-year-old Lily Mae Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack William James Sullivan is indeed gripping the country and beyond. It is Friday, May 2nd. Martel and his partner Malehya Brooks Murray, the children's mother, are having a lazy morning with their baby. Lily and Jack are in the kitchen alone.
Malehya and baby were asleep. Lily came in multiple times. I was not in deep sleep by any means. And then about 20 minutes passed, and then when I woke up, Malehya was right beside me. She was still asleep. And I said, I don't hear Lily and Jack.
The time, no one will say for sure, but police say it was around 10 a.m. when they got a 911 call.
I ran up in the woods to the kids through their cabins up in the woods, which only took me like 30 seconds. I came right back down. She was on the phone with the RCMP.
There are a ton of problems with this story, so let's go through them one by one. First, as I already pointed out, it directly contradicts Malehya's version of events, which is typical of co-conspirators reciting a scripted story. A made-up stuff just doesn't stick as well in the brain as a real memory. Second, it's extremely vague, especially when it comes down to the timing of everything. For instance, he said that Lily came in the room multiple times, and then suddenly he's saying 20 minutes later he woke up. He woke up 20 minutes after what exactly? Third, the story just isn't reasonable, which is one of the criteria from the Assessing Stories card in my Deception deck, my 52 favorite rules for spotting lies and manipulation. If his story is true, Malehya called the police before they'd even checked the backyard to see if the kids were out there. Remember, he said that They noticed the kids were being quiet. He immediately went outside for 30 seconds, and when he came back, she was already calling the police. Finally, the tone of the story itself is off, another criteria from my assessing stories card. And by that, I mean Daniel's main objective here is to alibi Malehya. He made a point of telling us that he wasn't totally asleep and that she was definitely sleeping next to him when he woke up and she couldn't have crept off. But if his story's true, he can't be 100% sure about that. And what about these contradictions? Is he not concerned that her story doesn't match his? He doesn't even seem to be concerned that a kidnapper might have taken the kids or the kid's biological dad who's still out there somewhere. His sole objective, it seems, is to alibi himself and Malehya and express zero curiosity about what happened or request any help to figure out what actually happened. But it gets worse. Let's keep listening.
I ran up in the woods to the kids. They have cabins up in the woods, which took me like 30 seconds. I came right back down. She was on the phone with the RCMP.
For 6 days, crews tackled an exhaustive search. The children's mother took the baby to be with her family in another part of the province. Her mother told CBC News the RCMP told them not to speak with news reporters. The RCMP says it just advised everyone to be mindful of the information they share publicly. On May 7th, police scaled back the search.
The probability of survival is taken into consideration.
But search crews returned for 2 more weekends until the end of May, searching wells, mine shafts, and septic systems, even flying a drone beneath the home.
The 4-year-old is wearing some blue dinosaur boots.
Police say they found a boot print. And listen to this in the radio chatter.
Families brought us to a location there, not far away, that there's a piece of...
We've asked plenty of innocent parents on the channel, and they talk to anyone who's willing to listen, even if it means that the public will dogpile them, or in the case of the parents of Dylan Ealer, who we've also analyzed on the channel, actually become the targets of fake ransom requests, which is just absolutely disgusting. So why do I say all this? Because Malehya and her mother are pulling the same trick that we've seen every other hoaxer pull on the channel, trying to tell the public that the police told them not to talk when their kid is out there missing. And even if the police did tell them not to talk to the press and ask for help finding their kid, which the police made clear that they didn't, imagine if they had. Do you think the father of Seth Rogers would have listened to that advice? Or the mother of Kyron Horman? Or the biological mother of Gannon Stouch? All of whom we've analyzed on the channel? Of course not. In other words, parents of missing children have to face a very unique dilemma which forces them to talk. If they go silent, like Malehya Brooks Murray or the mother of Sebastian Rogers, it basically confirms their guilt in the court of public opinion. But it does help them in the court of law, because the court of law has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they're guilty. But what about the parents who really care what the court of public opinion thinks, and are cocky enough to think that they can fool everyone in the public and even the police? Well, they keep talking. We're only halfway through the CBC mini documentary. If you want to continue analyzing it, let me know by liking, commenting, and sharing. Until next time, stay true.
Okay, so yes, we just learned that there was CPS was called before these kids went missing. So there is a file on them. Yeah, so now he didn't jump into the vehicle, right? I mean, he didn't even bring it up in this interview, I don't think. Did Malehya panic and hide the kids for some reason? I mean, I don't know. There's a lot going on, guys, right? Yeah. Truth is mandatory. It's really mandatory. We've got to, and we have to try to stick to the truth. I heard that too, that she dropped the kids in the car at the end of the drive, but we don't know what's what, right? So, I mean, I don't know. You know, there's just a lot going on that we have no idea. You know, we could take what Daniel said because he said it, but it, you know, you heard from Mr. Yummy. Is he telling the truth? His stories have changed. And, you know, do I think Malehya is involved? Yes. In my opinion, I do. To what extent, I don't know. You know, I would really love to believe that these kids are still alive and with someone. Is that why they've all of a sudden put out the $150,000 reward? I mean, I don't know, right? Ginger and I are on the same page. I would love to believe the children are alive and well somewhere. Yeah, they both know what happened. Obviously, it's like Mr. Yummy said, they had a script that they were trying to go by. Daniel went by the script in the beginning, and then all of a sudden the script flipped, I think because he can't remember it. Right? So, I mean, after law enforcement finding Claire Bell, I would love nothing better than to find out that Jack and Lily are alive and that they're, you know, staying with somebody. Honestly, I believe that Malehya and Daniel are both too calm for comfort in their interviews. When you have missing, you know, all you have to do is look at Jason Ayler, Seth Rogers, right? Brandy, and so many more out there, right? To discover how an innocent person acts when their child is gone. They're not calm. In some cases, they're not even they're not calm, but they're not even rational, right? You know, they'll blame other people, you know. You know, if some of you are right that Daniel didn't tell the truth in the beginning and now he's telling it, he's not protecting her, well, why? Then tell us why his story changed. You don't just change a story, right? You don't just change a story without telling people why you changed the story, right? You really don't. Yeah, it's looking more and more like Sebastian's case, doesn't it? And when I think about from the beginning how RCMP said that they had no hope that the children were alive, you know, to now, wow, you know, I'm hopeful now that they might be, especially after Claire Bell being found. I'm hopeful that somebody took them. Exactly. And in fact, in Jason Ayler's case, they've actually put a protective order against him because he's come after law enforcement so much, right? Which, in my in my opinion, is sad that law enforcement would ever do such a thing to the parent of a missing child, put a protective order against them so they can't call law enforcement. That's just BS, in my opinion. Makes me angry when I think about it. Exactly. The truth never changes. It never changes. Yes, there's a reward. $150,000 reward. Here is a different article that we can read. Maybe now that actually, we even can watch this.
Now I'd be totally surprised.
It's been almost 6 weeks since Lily and Jack Sullivan were first reported missing from their home in Lansdowne Station. On Wednesday, the RCMP in Nova Scotia said many RCMP units, including Major Crime, are involved in the investigation, along with the National Center for Missing Persons. Police say they formally interviewed 54 people in their search, and this former Halifax regional police officer doesn't take that lightly.
They're out there, and the only way they're going to see or get results in this is to be out there talking to people, looking at videos, looking at topography and what have you, and so on. They're not in offices doing this by a laptop. Let's put it that way.
In an update this week, the RCMP say they've collected hundreds of hours of video from areas surrounding Lansdowne Station between April 28th and May 2nd, when the kids went missing, and have received nearly 500 tips from the public. Police say they've searched every aspect of the family's home and received authorization to seize and examine devices.
They'll go on the balance of probabilities based on the area that we fully searched with a lot of people. We can't find any evidence, be it a backpack, a shoe, or whatever. We can't find the kids. If you can't find them, somebody has to say enough is enough right now for searching those areas. So now we move to where? There's only one other option. A nefarious take to this. In other words, a criminal type thing. That's only my personal opinion.
Police say they've used polygraph tests in some interviews. This former polygraph examiner south of the border.
Remember, though, Daniel said, oh, it's not criminal. He knows more than an ex-police officer would, right?
Says the test is used to monitor how a person's nervous system responds to certain questions.
If somebody is successful in the test, then not that they're being eliminated, but they'll spend more time on people that are not successful. Not passing the test doesn't mean you're guilty or you're involved. It simply means that there's some issue there, maybe some knowledge, guilty knowledge.
Moriello says he's seen people pass tests who were later proven guilty. More than 160 search and rescue volunteers have scoured through the densely wooded area surrounding the children's home, but only a small boot print was found. Police continue to refer to the case as a missing persons investigation.
They're covering it all, everything they can. And you only do that in depth when there's a criminal investigation with major crime on scene. They're not there just because they're major crime. They're there to do their major crime work.
Mitchell Bailey, Global News, Halifax.
Okay. And it says Nova Scotia is offering an award of up to $150,000 for information in the disappearance of 2 young children who were last seen more than a month and a half ago. Lily Sullivan, 6, and her brother Jack Sullivan, 4, were reported missing on May 2nd from their home in Lansdowne Station in Pictou County. Okay. This is a picture that they're saying people were speculating as to whether Jack was abused. I don't know, guys. Is that why there were CPS reports before these kids ever went missing? I'm just curious. Their disappearance has been added to the province's major unsolved crimes program, which the province says is a tool to help police in major unsolved crime cases. In a brief call, the children's maternal grandmother told Global News that the family's focus is on finding Lily and Jack and that they hope the reward will help in the case. In a Thursday news release, Becky Druhan, Attorney General and Minister of Justice, said the disappearance of Jack and Lily Sullivan is felt across the province and beyond, and my heart goes out to the family, the community, and everyone who has been working to find these children since day one. Police and investigators are working tirelessly to find answers, and I urge anyone with information to please share this with the RCMP as soon as possible. The amount rewarded under the program will be based on the investigative value of the information. Those with information can call the Rewards for Major Unsolved Crimes program at 1-888-710-9090. People who come forward with information must provide their name and contact information and may be called to testify in court. All calls will be recorded, the province said in the release. Information can also be shared anonymously through Crime Stoppers of Nova Scotia at 1-800-222-8477. Again, we know about the video footage taken the day before. Hundreds of hours of searching. This is what the boots are believed to be like and the backpack. In an update last week, RCMP said finding out what happened to the siblings may take longer than they hoped. Polygraph tests were done. This is all older information. So, yeah. Let me see what everybody's saying here. I missed quite a bit. Okay. Elizabeth Smart is the one that blew your mind. You knew she was dead. Yeah, this kind of, honestly, I mean, I believed what RCMP said in the beginning. I wasn't holding out any hope, because when law enforcement tells you they don't think they're alive, I mean, you know, and she's back doing her thing. Yes, she is. Yeah, I know. I thought that was funny. Yeah, exactly. If the kid goes missing, you would remember every detail of that morning. You wouldn't change your story. That's exactly right. Could this be an actual hoax? Good point, Neuro. I don't know. I will tell you this, Neuro, if it is, they will have to pay for all the thousands of man hours. And yeah, I mean, they will be held accountable for that. Whoever's responsible. Both parents, whatever, right? Are we all on a psychological test and we don't know it? Poor little Jack could have fallen down those nasty stairs. The thing is, though, if he has a split lip, I don't know. Get that from falling down the stairs? I don't know. It's time to hang up your true crime hat. Hey, Neural. Sumner County just caught an unregistered SA offender. So, goodness sakes, are they doing a job or what? I think, was that 2 in the last week that I've sent to you, Ginger, from Sumner County, the SA offenders that they have arrested in Sumner County? Now, when I think about that head search woman spoke, you thought, what? I'm not following you, Lori. Right? You do. You remember. You feel like you're in the Twilight Zone. I agree. I agree. You ran out of pencils, Amy. Take a sip of water. Yeah. I don't know. It does feel really strange, doesn't it? You never know what's going to happen next. I just don't know, guys. I am questioning more and more now why Malehya is silent. But I don't trust either one of the two. You go between the Twilight Zone and Groundhog Day. That's funny. Oh my gosh. Time loop stuff and we're all caught. At least in this case, maybe even Sebastian's case, but we did get, I don't know, maybe. Did any of you watch Clarabelle's mom's videos, TikToks? She's definitely in the Twilight Zone. So maybe we are caught in some time loop stuff. And unless you watch her TikToks, you will never know what I mean. Maybe I can show you one. We'll see. Oh my gosh. She's still on here. Okay. So I'll share my screen with you. You want to talk about Twilight Zone? We'll talk about the Twilight Zone.
What are some of your weaknesses?
I'm too honest.
I don't really think that's a weakness.
I don't give a shit what you think.
What are some of your weaknesses?
I'm too honest.
Okay, that's mild. How about this one?
You want this power. You're gonna get it.
Gene!
Your emotions make you weak. You're wrong. My emotions make me strong.
Do you ever look at people sometimes and think, God, you are such a fucking cunt, but it's not socially acceptable to say it out loud, so you think it in your head and just smile at them? Or is that just me? Do you ever look at people sometimes and think, God, you are...
That's just a few guys. So, oh my gosh. Yeah, it was. If it was plunder, it was 8 hours. Yes. She's got a bunch, guys. Everything goes to Rod Serling. Well, this one alone is bad enough.
You try that again, and this is gonna get ugly.
She really lost it there. So, yeah. Her universal energy is just too strong for me. She said that. She ain't in my metabolism. Oh my gosh. You know, and here's the thing. Clarabelle's mom, I never think about what her real name is. I don't know. I don't know why her name doesn't stick in my head, but she can be a very pretty woman. She just, to me, this is the way a person with mental health issues portrays themselves, right? They're off. There's something about them that's off. And I didn't get that in Malehya's interview. I had red flags, but not of mental health. Did you guys have any inkling of mental health issues in Malehya's interview? I'm curious. Put one in the chat if you didn't think, if the answer is no, there was nothing to warn you about any kind of mental health issue with Malehya, or 2 in the chat if you, yes, in her interview, you did feel there was something in there. One, yeah. Yes. I mean, so premeditated leaving her out there like that? I mean, no, yeah. Walla, you feel she did? Something's up with those two, all I got. Some trauma from DV. Could be. Hello, Donna. So tell me what things you noticed from her interview if you felt there was mental health problems. Some kind of shock, a bit depressed. Yeah. Trauma of some kind. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I could go with that. A little bit depressed. One thing that I will say that, and I think we talked about this yesterday, is Malehya's pictures before she was with Daniel. Her hair was done, her makeup was done. I think she plumped her lips. But the kids also had their clothes were, nice. They were dressed well. Their hair was combed, that kind of thing. And she was just in a t-shirt, a Hello Kitty t-shirt, the day of her interview, with her hair pulled back, no makeup on, which, I mean, wouldn't expect her to get dressed up for an interview, nothing like that. But I'm just saying the pictures after seem a different person. So is it possible was some DV, something going on that caused some issues? I mean, heck, being out there in the boonies probably would get to me. I don't know. But I'm just saying, that's a possibility. Losing children is traumatic even if you participated in it. Yep, Sammy, that's true. Everyone doesn't appear crazy, right? Yeah. I didn't see much emotion, which is usually not good. It felt rehearsed. And the grandma said, yeah. Yeah. I can go with that. I believe that because neither Malehya nor Daniel showed any. I mean, they really haven't shown any kind of emotion. And the little bit that was shown wasn't realistic, right? Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Me too. I had a heart attack and I didn't even know it. I just knew I, didn't feel good. But yeah, I had a heart attack and didn't even know it. So, when you're going through something like that, you don't understand what your body's doing. I agree. If she had a better life before Daniel, depression could have totally changed her. It's hard to find happy moments. Yeah. Yeah, it was. No worries. That was years and years ago, guys. But um I mean, you don't know what you're going through. At the time, you do not understand what you're going through. You're kind of, I don't know, it's shock, I think, is all I can say. It's a tough call on emotion. I come from a non-hugging, stowing family. Yeah, my family, growing up little, they were not very huggy, but as we got older, my dad was very loving and hugged. It's like, and he said, that he wished he had been better about that when we were younger. Yeah. Malehya may have felt a lot of guilt for moving her children into a bad environment. I'm just going to throw this out there. Did she actually make plans with someone to take those kids? If she did, I don't think she thought things through because she put those people in harm's way. of law enforcement and herself, right? I agree with you, Noni. I would not want to be sedated either if my child was missing. If they were gone, then yeah, I might accept sedation. Yep. Yep, exactly. I mean, there's just so much to think about. I now do wonder if Malehya didn't do something to take the kids away to protect them. Um, you know, still can't rule out that there could have been an accident. Guys, when there is a CPS report and it comes out after they're missing, it's just like what happened in the Sebastian Rogers case. And it really makes your mind go, whoa, what was going on? And I don't believe Daniel. I'm sorry. It was not about their developmental delays. I was getting dressed, postpartum, maybe general depression, exhaustion with the 3 and no family nearby, extra weight. Yeah. You know, I mean, we don't really know for sure, other than we can look at the pictures before and after, Daniel, right? Which they don't look good, right? Oh. They don't consider familial abduction the same way they view just general abduction. Like stranger abduction, they don't, for some reason, when a parent, I don't know, it's I have noticed this in different cases now. Sebastian's this one. They don't view that as, like, even in the Claire Bell case, they never said it was abduction because the parent has custody, so they don't view that like an abduction. Does that make sense? I've noticed that law enforcement does not view that like an abduction if the parent tells the kid, like, okay, Claire Bell's case, she didn't abduct her child, she took her somewhere. So they don't look at that the same. I don't know why. Amy, you're funny. Yeah, if sounds like Jack was still in at least pull-ups for sure, right? Somebody said it was just for night. I don't know. I never heard that. But he was in pull-ups for sure. So, I mean, we do know that. I don't know. Actually, Daniel's the only one that said that, isn't he? I don't think Malehya ever said anything about Jack being in pull-ups. Oh gosh, that's scary. Another stepdad talking about pull-ups. Doggone it, I don't like this. I don't think Malehya ever said anything. Yeah, I mean, I could see it too, Noni. We've talked about it, haven't we? We just don't know for sure if it was. I agree, Lori. I don't trust him either. If the children were being abused, it might explain developmental delays as well as pacifiers later, later than they should be. That causes developmental delays, at least speech delays. Yeah, but we don't know that, do we, prayer warrior? Hello, Sandra. Number one, we don't talk hate here. Number two, we don't name other channels in here. Okay. So if you'd been listening, no, we're not putting any credence into what any alleged person has to say. We're trying to stick to facts. Okay. And you're welcome here. You're more than welcome here. Just please be kind and respectful. That's all we ask. Hello, Kate. Good to see you. Good to see you. Me too. Boy, I hated them. I couldn't wait to get my kids potty trained. Oh, rinsing diapers in the toilet. The stinky diaper bin. Oh. The houseplant comment gave you the giggles. Something said when he was on the channel, he mentioned found pants with blood on. I don't know. I do not know. Until or unless law enforcement comes out and says what they found, I'm not gonna believe that. I mean, whose pants? And I mean, just saying. I'm at the point now where in the beginning, because law enforcement said that they didn't believe the kids had any chance of being alive. Now I'm at the point of really hoping that they are alive and that mom put them somewhere. I mean, I don't know, right? I would love that those kids would be alive. Either way, I mean, they need to come home. When the circus comes to town in missing children's cases, I sit on the fence. And that's about it, right? We the circus has definitely come to town in this case, haven't they? Yeah, isolation, no help could be super rough on her. I agree. By the time anything comes out, I will have a beard down to my knees. We did, Kate, right? We had a miracle yesterday. Maybe we'll get another one. Cloth diapers are great for buffing your car. I never used them for that. I don't know. Oh my goodness. And that's the thing. It would be wonderful to have a miracle, right? I mean, I was so excited yesterday when they found little Claire Bell. I really was. That was so exciting. I can't even imagine. I'm sure the father was really happy. And that would be incredible. That would be incredible. I just find it weird that all this stuff is coming out and a lot of it is rumor, right? But now all of a sudden we've got $150,000 reward. We have no evidence. Lori. Daniel needs a diaper. A pull up. I'm telling you, I just hearing about pull ups again. I don't know why that hit me today. I do not know why that hit me today. Because we know that Chris made Sebastian wear pull ups. And the worst thing is when children are abused, wedding problems can be a problem. Yeah. I did watch a video, Sandra, of that guy. And you probably missed it, but at the beginning of my show, I said that there was an alleged second cousin to Malehya, which is this guy, who is saying this stuff. And it's kind of like the whole thing with Logan, right? I don't go there because we don't have any idea that these people are even related to Malehya or to Daniel, number one. How can we prove that, right? And there are people that come out of the woodwork that just can be nasty in missing children's cases. And I hate that. All you have to do is go to Jason's Facebook page, Jason Ayler, and he just posted something, a text from a guy that said that his kid is underground and he needs to stop his effing BS and all this other stuff. Horrible, horrible things said to the father of a missing child. It's awful what people will do, right? Pretend to be somebody. I mean, I've even heard, and I'm not trying to accuse any creator because I don't know, but I've even heard that creators have paid people to come on and say things. So I just don't listen. I don't take any of that stuff as fact. How can we? How can we? Oh, that's not good, prayer warrior. I'm sorry to hear that. Yes, postpartum is very real. All you have to do is look at Lindsay Clancy's case. I agree. Their grandma needs more time with them. I agree. Yeah, stay safe, prayer warrior. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't looked at the timeline. Yeah, that's what Daniel allegedly said, right? She couldn't stay around him because she would crack. Yeah. Yeah. Always getting others claiming to be friends or relatives. Taking a break from Twitter. Yeah, I pretty much stick with YouTube, guys. But I mean, I have all the other social media channels and I put my stuff on the other ones, but on a select few of them. But yeah, it, and you guys know that I stay away from the drama. I don't like that. Yeah, and you know the thing that bothered me about this guy is he said, I have riled things up. Well, you know what? Then shut up and just go to the police if you know something. Because why are you bragging about riling things up in a missing persons case? That really turned me off about that person. So, um, you do like the meme? Yeah, I watch some of the memes too. You know who I like to watch on Twitter is Mr. Yummy. Thank you, Neuro. Yeah. Um, and that's the thing. I mean, that's what I love about our chat, guys, because every one of you thinks critically, right? We're not just so gullible about taking everybody's word for what they're saying out there. And I just will not, I love that we can think critically and not take every single rumor as fact, right? You discovered amazing animals on Twitter and you love their posts. Thinks he's the brains behind the investigation. Well, you know, there there are other people that have come out in this case that have done the same thing. and it's really irritating. Um, I'll be the first one to say I don't know what happened here, right? None of us do. But I do believe Malehya and Daniel know. I believe that they have guilty knowledge, and in the end, the truth wins, right? I mean, look at little Claire Bell. I'm amazed that that baby girl was found. Thank God for that lunchbox. Can't these people get in legal trouble if they're making a bunch of lies on a missing persons case? Yeah. You know, you would think so, Kate. I think the police are just so busy, right? Sandra, we don't know if mom had a reason to hide her children or not. There was a CPS report. You do realize that, right? So we don't know if mom had a reason to hide her children. You know? So she could have, we don't know. She might not even be the case. We don't know either way. Right, that's true. They are. I don't believe these people. I just think if they're lying, they should have some accountability. I know. But I think that there's so many, you know. I think that if anybody's going to hold those kind of people accountable, it will be the RCMP versus our law enforcement in America, because RCMP will go after people. I agree with you, Sandra. Daniel's supporters are coming out and they're smacking down Malehya. I believe that, right? I mean, I agree with you. I think they're coming out, they're smacking down on Malehya, but I am going to say I agree with Deception Detective, and as our chat likes to call him, Mr. Yummy, that there were red flags in Malehya's interview, right? So I'm not fully placing the blame on Malehya either, but I think they both have guilty knowledge. We just don't know what it is. We don't know what the teacher saw or knew before calling CPS, but it was important enough for CPS to open a file. They had an open case. They had an open case. So we don't know if the case was, we don't know. We don't know what the case was about, right? I mean, other than it was about the children. And listen, they wouldn't say there was a case if there wasn't, because they don't talk about that usually. I'm surprised that they brought it up, but I really am. I really am surprised. But I did want to share my grannyism for today. This case is confusing, isn't it? But confusion is better than stupid conclusions. In stupid conclusion, there's no possibility, right? With confusion, we have possibilities out there. There's a possibility that these kids could still be alive. There's all kinds of things, right? So I know most of us don't like to be confused, but with confusion, there's no possibility. With stupid conclusions, there's no possibility. But with confusion, we have possibilities. It's a tongue twister. Just like Sebastian, we don't know what is in his CPS file. And there's the key. Thank you for bringing that up, Neil. We were all wondering, guys, we were all wondering why Daniel wasn't allowed to see Meadow. And then Daniel also told us that he wasn't allowed to even see his own children. Well, is it because of that CPS file? Interesting. Sandra, anything's possible, you know? Anything is possible. Let's just say this. I would not put it past him that these people are coming out conveniently. I have said before that Daniel portrays himself like a narcissist, and he's more worried about people looking at him positively than he is about finding the children. He talks about himself, and it's a very good reminder of just like the Sebastian Rogers case, Chris and Katie talking about themselves versus talking about Sebastian, talking about how everybody talks badly about them, right? Daniel's so busy trying to make himself look good in the public eye. That's my opinion. That's a good, same time, warn Malehya to keep her mouth shut. And that's because of the CPS file, I think. Well, he can watch it all he wants. Well, if he is, everybody say hi to Daniel. Everybody say hi to Daniel. Wave, do something, say hi to Daniel if he is. Desperate people do desperate things. I agree. Yeah, it really does, doesn't it, Lori? It all makes sense now. We were wondering why he wasn't allowed. Well, no more wondering. No, you're so funny. Kate's waving at Daniel. There were no worries about the children in any of his interviews. Thank you, Sandra. Mr. Pokemon. Hello, hello, Mr. Pokemon, right? Is it a drone? Is it a helicopter? No, it's Super D. Oh my goodness. You guys always make me laugh every single night. I don't know how you do it. Yeah, it is. It's all about Daniel. He's very narcissistic, guys. It's all about him. It really is. He's worried about how he's portrayed in the public, and yes, I would not put it past him that people are helping him. And if they are, I'm just going to say this: if people are doing that, I hope they get caught. If they're real, then I just have one thing to say about the second cousin. He probably should just shut up and just go to the police with what he knows and don't be talking on YouTube. Seriously. That's my that's my wisdom, my grannyism for the second cousin of Malehya, if that's who he is indeed. Noni's saying hi to Daniel. We do. We all need the laughter, don't we? But hey, guys, you know, yeah, I highly doubt it was real too. Can't stay morbid all day, right? Right. And that's what we try to do here is we try to, you know, we try to laugh a little, have some fun. Um, we're not making fun of anybody. We are trying to make a morbid situation easier to swallow for ourselves, right? Because we do care. We care about these poor little kids. And you know, something that I heard, I don't know, must have been on, I watched so many videos throughout the day before I get to my live that I don't remember where I heard it anymore. But I heard them talking about, and maybe it was Daniel's interview, I don't know, but them talking about how people online are talking about the case and it's not even about the kids anymore. But here, it is about the kids. We may talk about what's going on with the case, but it is always about those precious children. And if anybody has any question about that on this channel, all they have to do is go to my 5-minute video yesterday and listen to my voice as I broke the news that little Claire Bell was found. It's always about the kids. Well, hello, Mike Demand. Good to see you. And I agree with you 100%. Unless you can verify or be certain or even believe their statements have value, it's best to ignore it. It truly is. And that's what we do here. We don't take it for, and you make fun of Chris. Well, we have made fun of Chris Proudfoot as well. We absolutely have made fun of him. But he's kind of a enigma. He's his own person, isn't he, Mike? You'll be on later. Good. Yeah, well, all we found out is that there was a CPS report, right? There was a CPS report before these kids went missing. And that was given by the government. So interesting. And we'll probably be watching you later too. Aw, that's awesome, Kate. I'm glad you saw it. Yeah. Finding little Claire, that was a miracle. Yeah, we're happy you're here, Mike. Daniel craves attention, be it good or bad. Yeah. Yep. A CPS report months before the disappearance, which is scary because that's the same thing. He's as dumb as they come. Yeah, he is. Yes, the CPS report was months before the disappearance of Lily and Jack, and that's the same doggone thing that happened in Sebastian's case. CPS reports before he went missing. So, yeah, not good. Not good at all. So, and it just tells us, it gives us a reason for why he's not allowed to see Meadow or his other two children. It makes so much more sense now. besides the fact that everything that comes out of his mouth is not consistent. He's even in his most recent interview, he's changing the story again. And once again, that's like Sebastian's case. How many times did Katie and Chris change the story, change the narrative? And that's because, as we've learned from Mike DeMann and from Deception Detective, that when you make up a script, you can't remember it like experiential memory, things you've experienced. So, Mike, if you're still in here, thank you, because we have learned from you. Yes, the no supervised access makes perfect sense now. Yeah, he took Malehya's story. Yep, he sure did. But I agree with Dee Dee, Deception Detective, because he said he feels that they're co-conspirators. I agree with that. Yeah. It goes beyond neglect. I'm starting to really wonder about that picture. I don't like to bring it up and to say that Jack, point things out and make it a big thing, because we don't know. Have pictures been played with, right? Have they been manipulated? I don't want to put something out there that may not be true, right? Well, I will say this. Logan did say something which I don't, like I said, I don't take her word for gospel. But Logan did say that they said Meadow had to leave, and so Malehya left with her. So now I'm wondering, did they say that Meadow couldn't be by Daniel anymore? So I don't know, right? Wonder if they just want people to think they're separated and Malehya isn't talking because she's a bad liar. I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities out there, right? I mean, right? We're all confused, so that's better than coming to a stupid conclusion, because confusion can lead to possibilities. So yes, it's so easy to manipulate pics, right? Especially shadows that could look like bruises. So that's kind of scary. I don't want to, but it is starting to make me wonder now. They could have had a crisis worker in the ambulance, right? Just a lot, right, guys? There's so much to it. So much to it. But hopefully we will get a good resolution to this case, right? Hopefully. That could be. Maybe that's, yeah. It's like the younger Canadian version of the feet. Yeah. It would be wonderful, right? And I would love that. I would love that those two babies would be alive somewhere. And now I'm a little concerned because I don't know if they'll have a mom or, the dad gave up rights to them 3 years ago. So maybe grandma. I mean, I don't know, right? Because it's not looking good. Not looking good. But it'll be interesting to find out, right? Just all we can do is hope and pray for those little kids to be brought back alive. Something is going on. I really feel that, guys. That's what I'm going to leave you with today. I really feel like something is going on in this case. And that's the reason for the $150,000 reward. So, I'm hoping it's going to break things open real quickly here. Hoping and praying. No, Anne, unfortunately not to my knowledge. Other than Claire Bell was found yesterday. Yeah. DV is always very, very messy. It is. All right, guys. So that's all I had for you tonight. I want to thank you all for being here. Please, please hit the like button on your way out. And we will talk tomorrow night. Have a great night. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.